we start wearing those clothes, but we also start feeling proud of those clothes. Plus, also the money stays in the country; it is not going as a profit to the other country, right? So Swadeshi, self-reliance, Atma Shakti, plus our craftsmen and all will be benefited automatically, right? I don't think we need to discuss that. Okay, so now. Yeah, okay. So why the leadership pass to the extremists? I don't think we need to discuss this. Also, we realize that gradually, first of all, moderates method have failed. Government policy we have seen. Plus, the methods we are going to follow, they cannot do that. So definitely, this has to go to the other person. Plus, we also realize that there will be a brutal suppression from the government. Right? Anybody who's doing this, right? Anybody who's protesting, maybe student, right? Maybe if you're let's say singing Vande Mataram, right? If you're press, everybody will be controlled. Freedom of press and all will be curbed. So this is not something which they wanted. This is not something which they can handle. And this leadership has to pass into the hands of, let's say, extremists. Right? So what extremists will start to do over here? Extremists will say, what we got from the resolution, boycott and Swadeshi. This is something we got. Okay, great. So boycott and Swadeshi is allowed. And it automatically means, I don't know why, but it automatically means that we can go for passive resistance. Right? Because we know passive resistance. Right? And it's not like logically it is leading to it, but it is like, we will go for. So automatically they added passive resistance to it. So method, what is officially passed from Congress is Swadeshi and boycott. Right? What they added to it, we will go for passive resistance. Right? What is officially passed from the Congress is boycott of goods and all. But they will say, let's go for boycott of government school colleges, government services, court, legislature, everything. Right? So let's go for passive resistance. So now you see the leadership or the extremist leaders, they have gone beyond. Right? They have started passive resistance. They have started boycotting everything. And a lot of new development will start to happen. And this is nothing under control of moderates. Right? Now it's like moderates, extremists have taken over. Now they started boycotting government school, court, right? They will have our own arbitration center. The government school, college, services, court, legislature, everything got boycotted. So this is not what they had envisaged. This is not what they have thought, but they have taken it over. Right? And here you can realize, we, the extremist leader like Aurobindo Ghosh, who brought this concept of passive resistance in the movement, right? He believes that political freedom is the life breath of the nation. He's looking for freedom, right? He's talking about freedom in this era. Right? We are not saying this is the official stand, but we understand that Aurobindo Ghosh is one of the important leaders. If he believes in this, so somewhere he's contributing into that direction. Maybe we'll not reach it over here, but somewhere it will influence us. Right? This becomes important. Anyway, coming back. So now we talk about, by the way, we have already seen this, but just talking about various aspects of the movement. Quick discussion. You already understood a lot of things, but still, just giving it a holistic cover. Okay, so boycott, social boycott, and all we have already seen. Right? Atma Shakti, I have already told you, this is more about self-reliance. You become more confidence. This also includes, by the way, social reform, fighting against social evils, dowry, etc. Right? Caste oppression, dowry, early marriages. They work on that. Now, mass mobilization. This is something which we have not discussed. Mass mobilization. Now it is also about how to actually reach out to the masses. Right? And one thing is Tilak decided that we should do all this, that we should go for passive resistance, we should go for Swadeshi, boycott. But how to tell people? Right? How to tell them that you have to do this? Now, one of the most important aspects of the mass mobilization is samitis. There will be samitis / volunteer organizations. Right? Like Sanghas. Sang means Buddha Sang, no other Sang. So for example, we'll have like volunteers, right? And they are the one who will reach out to the people, who will arrange these public meetings, who will carry out these processions. And there are famous examples for samitis, right? A lot of samitis. One of the biggest examples, one of the most important examples, which you need to keep in your mind, and you can expect a question again, is Swadesh Bandhav Samiti. Swadesh Bandhav Samiti. This is Ashwani Kumar Dutt, and this is happening in Barisal. Right? Now overall it has 159 branches, and this is the only samiti which reaches out to the peasants. Mostly we believe that this is urban phenomena. Overall, it's an urban phenomena. Overall, peasants are not the part of Swadeshi movement, right? In general, we see that, but in general, peasants have not participated. It is not at all a rural phenomena. It is not at all where we are expecting farmers, right? We are expecting the urban people, maybe workers, maybe other urban, let's say students, women, right? But not the peasants. He is the only person, Ashwani Kumar Dutt, with the Swadesh Bandhav Samiti in Barisal. He was able to mobilize peasants. This is the biggest achievement. This is one of the most important achievement of this committee. Like other societies in Calcutta, you see Dawn Society, Anti-Circular Society, Anushilal Samiti is there, Brati, Surya, Sadhana Samiti, right? Again, you don't have to mark up everything. At least recognize. And 2-3 names if you can learn as examples, so that if you're discussing participation in names, you can give examples. Right? One example will always be Swadesh Bandhav Samiti. Other is Dawn Society, maybe Anushilal Samiti. You can keep in mind. Yeah. So samitis are there. In Tamil Nadu, you also have Swadeshi Sangam. Now, what methods they will implant? How they are going to mobilize masses? Right? One of the famous methods is magic lanterns. Magic lantern is PPT. PPT, you know PPT, right? PPT. So this is PPT. So what they used to do is they used to create a slide and they used to project a light from one side. Right? So it will be there on the screen and people will be like, see this. This is important. We are doing this. We are doing that. So they used to have a slide show. So magic lantern, and people were, in the night, especially the evening time or the night time, all village, all people gathered over there, and then they used to see that magic lantern slide show. Why this is important? What is Swadeshi? Why we need to do Swadeshi? Right? So this was one of the very, very famous methods. Then we were talking about songs, Swadeshi songs. Right? Songs, if you see music culture is something which go beyond boundaries. Right? Culture is something which is very fast. Song is like something very fast. Right? And very, very quickly it can reach to the masses from one person to the other person. And Swadeshi songs, etc. Then they started, started gyms, physical training, etc. Then during, if there is famine or something, they will support area. And this is how they are reaching to the people. Court, they have boycotted, so arbitration of courts. Schools, they had boycotted, so organization of schools. So this is basically the volunteer organizations who are taking care of all these things, ensuring that people will get to know their message and become part of the Swadeshi movement. Right? So this Samitis is, you can say, core part of the whole Swadeshi movement. Yeah, understood? Everyone, so Samiti is one thing. Boycott, Atma Shakti, mass mobilization. The mass mobilization we have seen. Who all participated? That is also we'll see. Swadeshi movement laid foundation to the revolutionary freedom struggle. No, it was already in discussion. Right? They were already there before Swadeshi movement. Right? They helped or bolstered their feeling or something. That way, if you can say, the first moment they got confident, or basically the first moment failure of the first moment they got like, we need to do something. That way, if you want to justify, that works. That is okay. Okay, going forward, the next concept which we wanted to discuss is national education. Right? Because of all this, now there is a need. There is, you can say, realization that we need to have our own national council of education. Right? A body which will decide our curriculum, which will ensure that we have our schools and all, and which will actually preach nationalism. I hope we all are aligned to this point, everyone. Yeah. So now a lot of you can say a lot of you can say schools, a lot of colleges started to come in. Sorry, because of this movement. So we see national education. So a lot of people establish such schools, such societies. So Bhagavad Chatushpati or Satish Chandra Mukherjee. These are some examples. Dawn Society, Saraswat icon of Brahma Badra Upadhyay. When we are asking people to boycott school and colleges, where they should go, right? They can come to these colleges. Shanti Niketan of Rabindranath Tagore. And finally, by July 1906, in July we will have our Bengal Technical Institute, which later on became Jadavpur, right? And a College of Engineering and Technology, Jadavpur. Right. So now we will start to have big schools and colleges which are based on nationalistic lines, not on the English curriculum, or not basically as per the British requirement. Right. So what they are asking is, we'll create our own colleges, and finally to have a common body, right, to look into the curriculum and all, they will finally establish a National Council of Education. Was this in agenda? No, this was not there in agenda. Right. Passive resistance was not there in agenda. National Council of Education was not there in agenda. But during 1906 discussion, during 1906, you can say protest, all these things are automatically happening because this automatically connects with Swadeshi. Right, this is part of Swadeshi, right, which we cannot maybe imagine on the very first day. We cannot plan for this. We'll go for National Council of Education in December maybe. We cannot have that in resolution in December 1905. But in 1906 we saw the flourishment of all these institutes, all these colleges. Right, which now this National Council of Education is saying we'll create the whole curriculum on the national lines. Right, and then funds are being mobilized for this. Funds are being mobilized to send people to Japan as well. Why Japan? Japan is an industrial country. Japan is an Asian country. Right, so if Japan can become industrialized, what is the secret? Let's learn from Japan. Right, we want to become industrialized. We want to be developed, inspired from Japan, not from Europe. So that is the reason. Send somebody to Japan. Right, learn something. So national education became another important element of this whole discussion. Bengal National College, so in Bengal National College, you see, so Aurobindo Ghosh himself became the principal. Right, started in Calcutta, Bengal National College. Okay, so Satish Chandra Mukherjee, Dawn Society, we'll read about him. Moving forward, economy, we have already discussed, but still, quick view, you realize PC Ray will establish Bengal Chemical Swadeshi Store. Right, because he's the one who can provide that pharmaceutical factory, right, chemical factory. Rabindranath Tagore opened a Swadeshi store. Right, then Swadeshi Enterprises, a lot of now soap factory, textile mill, so banks, insurance company, all this, and then Mohini mills, Bangi Lakshmi, cotton mills, etc. A lot of small bodies coming in, a lot of commercial bodies coming in, which are not driven mainly by profit, but are driven by the Swadeshi zeal. Now there is a Swadeshi requirement. We need to fulfill all that requirement, so we need to have this, let's say, jute mill, or let's say cotton mill, or let's say soap factory, bank, right? And it is mainly not for profit, but it is like requirement of the economy, and it is helpful for the economy, right? So this is the economic growth we were talking about. You will see a lot of, you can say, such enterprises coming into picture. Right, similarly, culture we're talking about. Culture, the song like Samar Sonar Bangla, everybody singing Amar Sonar Bangla, Amar Sonar Bangla. Vande Mataram became a street cry. Everybody talks about Vande Mataram. Right, that Vande Mataram, this become like cry of the whole freedom struggle. Right, okay, so Tagore Amar Sonar Bangla. Later on it will become National Anthem of Bengal. Then similarly, we have Subramaniam Bharti, Pratihar. Right, he wrote Swadesh Geetam. Right, a lot of you were talking about festivals coming in. So Shivaji festival, Ganpati festival, this is Tilak organizing all these festivals. Plus nationalist poetry, prose, etc. Right, Bengali folk music like Pali Geet, Jarigan, fairy tales, Thakur Mar Jhuli. Right, if you can use this in 2 mains as much possible, good. This can be prelims PYQ as prelims MCQ. Possible. Right, Thakur Mar Jhuli. Yeah, what is Thakur Mar Jhuli? Yeah. The Thakur Mar Jhuli is written by Dakshin Narayan Mitra Majumdar. I thought some Bengali students must be knowing. Okay. Now again, now here we have a famous painter, Abanindranath Tagore. Right, Abanindranath Tagore, he says now I will not be looking at Victorian or British ideas of painting. I will be looking at what paintings India already had. We look at Ajanta, we look at Rajputs, right? We look at Mughal paintings, right? And from there I take inspiration, and a new school of painting will arise from here. So Abanindranath Tagore now he brings this revolution even in painting, and there is a proper Indian Society of Oriental Arts coming in. So the impact is not only on economy, but also impact is on culture, your songs, your paintings, everywhere. And this becomes one of the very important elements for mains examination. Right? How this is impacting your culture. Yeah, okay. So now the founder, if you see, Gaganendra Tagore and Abanindranath Tagore, and they are the one who will establish this Oriental art. Now one of the biggest, or most famous person who will get the scholarship and become famous from here is Nandalal Bose. Right, Nandalal Bose. Nandalal Bose has one thing which you should know about Nandalal Bose. If you see the original copy of the Constitution, you realize there is a lot of paintings in that Constitution. A lot of paintings are from Nandalal Bose. Right, he's one of the painter of those paintings in actual Indian Constitution. So Subramaniam Bharti, he has, first of all, in his name there is a national award, the National Subramaniam Bharti Award. Plus a lot of famous words like Achami Like. Right, if you just read it once, you'll be like, now we know. So Achami Like is what? Is Subramaniam Bharti. Panchali, Sapatam, Pappa Pattu, Kannan Pattu, Kuyal Pattu, right? All these from Subramaniam Bharti. Okay, now again, introduction or basically personalities you need to read. I'll just highlight the important things. So Subramaniam Bharti. So now, by the end of the 1906, right, with all this development we have seen, talking about national education, talking about Swadeshi, economy growth, right, Atma Shakti, the growth which we have seen, this is all automatically diverting towards Swaraj, right? And anyway, Aurobindo Ghosh, or basically the extremist leaders, has this in their heart, Swaraj or political freedom. That is something we need, right? So now somewhere it has gone beyond partition. It is not about partition anymore. Now we are looking for Swaraj. Right, now we basically want Swaraj. So now you realize this whole idea of partition, or basically whole you can say movement, partition movement, we need to get it annulled, we need to fight against it. Now this is sideline. And what is important is Swaraj. Now Swadeshi movement is more about Swaraj than just partition. And now it is becoming pan-India. It is not only limited to Bengal, but gradually it is also becoming pan-India. Right, so now, okay, so Swaraj is becoming important. Other thing we realize, religion is becoming an important part of this. Bhagavad Gita is being quoted a lot. Right, so now there is one more circular, Carlyle circular. Carlyle circular says that if a student found participating in this movement, then they will be basically barred from this school and college will be basically barred from the disaffiliated, right? If they're getting some grant or something, it will be stopped. Thus a student will be barred from any government job. So if you participate in such a movement, in this movement, right, this came in 1905 only, right, immediately after the partition, right, if you participate, this college will be gone, that student will be barred from any government examination, cannot file UPSC, etc. Right, and that is again one of the reasons that we need alternate solution for this. We need our own colleges, we need our own schools, right? Carlyle circular. Okay, so now let's come to the participation, right? Very, very important part. Who is actually participating in this movement? Right, participation. Again, let me conclude once what we have studied. So one part what we have seen is we have seen that we can categorize into 4 trends. One is your moderate trend, one is constructive Swadeshi, one is political extremism, one is revolutionary. We are not discussing this right now, but now we have gone into this how constructive Swadeshi, what is the impact in economy, what is the cultural growth, etc. Political extremism, now we are realizing that Swaraj is building up. Right, national education we saw there is now proper council plus boycott Swadeshi we have seen. Right, for moderate trend few things we have seen. Model winter reforms will come later. We'll have that discussion. Now the another angle which we need to discuss, which we are discussing right now, is we were talking about various aspects. Right, various aspects. Let's conclude that as well. What are things we have discussed, and maybe then you can elaborate on this. Various aspects. The first aspect we had discussed was boycott, which we have seen the trend as well. Right. Another aspect is mass mobilization. And here the important element is Samiti. Right. Swadesh Bandhav Samiti, very, very important. And you can then add examples for it. Right. And here only you can add some examples. Also, here only you can add this topic of participation. When you mobilized, who all actually participated? Right, participation. And you can elaborate on this, we'll come back to participation, and then you can add things to participation. Then one thing which we added to this is Atma Shakti. Atma Shakti, which is about self-reliance, which is about social reform. So maybe you can add this to. So this is about social reform. But most importantly, it is about, first of all, you should write self-reliance. Because the whole economy is becoming self-reliant. Right, okay. You can also add a national dignity to this. Right, then we were talking about another aspect is education. And I'll write national education, but there are more schools. National education, 1906. Right, then we were talking about economy. You already know this, economy. Then we were talking about culture. Again, this is you can say rephrasing of trends only. In trends we have categorized into as per the leaders, but here we have categorized the movement into various aspects. Same thing, but a different way to look at the Swadeshi movement. If there is any you can say change in aspect, we can say that. Yeah, understood. Right, now let's go to the participation of the part. Who all are participating in this? Okay. So one is students. Students. See, students, you must understand there is unemployment. Right? Students have a lot of future yet, and if they get freedom, right, there is a different future they will have. So definitely. Right, definitely it is very, very important. Right, students become part of this movement, and if we are looking at so many colleges and schools coming in, which automatically means that they are the part of this movement. So there is a huge, amazing participation from the students. Second, women. By this time, women is already mobilized. It is not like 100% of the women is mobilized, but there is, you can say, a lot of participation from women, and they will mostly participate in picketing, right, liquor shop and all, ensuring people are not coming to the liquor shop, participating in some procession, right, major type of contribution. This will expand to next level when Gandhiji will come. Right, for taking it to the next level, we need Gandhiji. Right, but still, students and women will become the two most important, you can say, element, or basically you can say are the foundation of the movement. Right, students and women. Now, third thing is peasants. Let me not write over here. Let me add over here. And you know that peasants is low, extremely low. They were not mobilized. It is basically Swadesh Bandhav Samiti is the exception. Right, Swadesh Bandhav Samiti is the exception, but otherwise, is the peasant mobilized? No. Picketing is more like, picketing is more like, if there's a liquor shop, the woman will ensure stand there and let no liquor being sold. And ensure liquor is not being sold. Shut the shop. Right, ensure people go away from there. Right, the selling should be stopped. Yeah, that kind of thing is picketing. Okay, so women we have discussed. Next is Muslim participation, and I'm putting a star mark, and then labor participation. Let's discuss this part. Muslim participation and labor participation. First, look at the labor participation. So see, this is an urban phenomenon, and a lot of laborers live in the urban area only, right? So if such a big thing is happening in the urban area, right, and Swadeshi movement is happening in the urban area, people are not lighting fire, not eating food and all, they will also be affected, right? So laborers will also get to know such movement is happening. Should we become part of this movement? The question arises: if suppose I'm a labor working in, let's say, in a railway factory, or let's say in a tram of Calcutta, there are tramways in Calcutta, right? So suppose I'm the tram driver. Now should I participate in this movement? Now the point is, what is there in this movement for me, right? So I will realize it does not matter, right? I am also angry. I also have my issues, right? And if we all together, all the tram drivers revolt, not revolt in the sense, we also become part of this movement. Our view also we get heard by our Malik, by our boss. Right, so why not? We should also participate in this movement. So laborers will automatically start participating. In Calcutta and all, you see a lot of labor unions being formed, a lot of laborers being part of this movement. Right. So 1905 only, you'll find that though there is, you can say, minor mobilization, it is not like there is extreme focus on labors. Let's get labors as well. Like that kind of movement we don't have. But still, there are leaders, and without much targeting, laborers become part of this movement. Right. So you realize that 250 Bengali clerks of Barna Company. Right. I don't want you to remember everything, but some examples. Right. Something you can take from here, so that you can suppose if there is a question of labor participation, you can give examples. Right, so in Howrah is Bengal, next to Kolkata, Howrah. So they have revolted. Our working condition is also bad. We will also revolt. Was this movement about this? No, but they are part of Swadeshi. Yes, why not? Every Indian is part of Swadeshi, can become part of Swadeshi. They are suffering, so let them become the part of the movement. Right? Then tramways, printing press, etc. Whosoever has some grievances can become part of this movement. Yeah, right. October 1905, there is Printers Union, and printing presses and all. Then East India Railway, people will form one more union. A lot of groups being formed. Right, Railway Men's Union. Right, then Jute Mills. Again, some Indian Mills Hand Union being formed. Bajaj Group is being formed. Right, then again Tuticorin and Tirunelveli, not only in Calcutta, Subramaniam Shiva, Chidambaram is like they are leading strikes. In Punjab, Lajpat Rai, Ajit Singh, they are leading strikes. Right, so we realize that yes, there is you can say immense good participation of peasants. Though the movement does not talk about laborers, does not talk about whether we are targeting. Same as peasants are not being targeted. Right, movement does not talk about we will go and ensure rural areas also become part of this. No, it does not talk about that. Right, and they are not, you can say, targeting as well. They are not even thinking of doing that. And same thing is with the laborers. But the laborers, you see in most of the movements, whether you target laborers or not, they will automatically be the part of the movement. And gradually realize this almost always happens, always. Right, so few leaders which you can keep in your mind is Ashwini Kumar Banerjee, Prabhat Kusum Rai Chaudhary, then Apurva Kumar Ghosh and all. Right, and we'll see a lot of labor participation as well. We have enough examples for the same. Yeah, now let's come to the Muslims participation. Muslim participation. So you realize that the whole idea of creating that other province was getting the support from Muslims. Yeah, right? That is the whole idea. So yes, we saw every religion participating, putting Rakhi on each other's heads and everything. But somewhere, the whole concept is alienating Muslims, right? The whole idea is to alienate Muslims, right? The whole idea is if there is some Nawab Sahab, right? He should become leader of the the elite class, and they should be like we should work for the favor of, or basically the rise of the Muslims, right? Now here definitely there are a lot of leaders who are part of the Swadeshi movement. Abdul Rashid, Maulana Azad, right? And they are here. Liaquat Hussain is here. Ghaznavi is here. So there are few examples of Muslim leaders participating in this movement. But then this is the spot where we'll see that by September 1906, unfortunately, Lucknow should not be there, but yes, at Lucknow, right? And at Lucknow, we saw this meeting, first meeting, right, where the idea was floated, and all the Muslim leaders and all, they met over here, and all the big Muslim leaders or the famous Muslim leaders, right, they met at Lucknow, and it was decided that it is time we should have our own political party, right? The time has come, we should have our own political party. So unfortunately, this also happened at Lucknow, right? But Lucknow will take revenge for this, don't worry, right? Okay, so at Lucknow, we'll have this first discussion. Also, by October 1906, Aga Khan has gone, with a lot of leaders to meet the Governor General Lord Minto. Right, this is October, 1st October. They have met Lord Minto. He said, we want to create a political party. Are you aligned? Right. So Minto was saying, great idea, sir. Go ahead. Right. And finally, then in December, it is Nawab Salimullah Khan. Nawab Salimullah Khan of Dhaka. Nawab Salimullah Khan of Dhaka. So at Dhaka, this all will start, right? And British succeeded over here. Right. Nawab Salimullah Khan of Dhaka at his place Ehsan Manzil. Right, his house Ehsan Manzil. There will be formation of Muslim League. Right, first president will be Nawab Bakar ul Mulk. Bakar ul Mulk. Right, this is first president. So now because of all this, now we'll have you can say our Muslim League as well, the counter body is also there, right? So Muslim League, Nawab Bakar ul Mulk will become the first president. And one of the important Muslim leader, who's part of both the places, in fact, this idea of All India Muslim League, the name is from him, is Muhammad Shafi. Right, Muhammad Shafi is a very, very influential figure. Right, Muhammad Shafi. So this is how we have this body, right? I want you to read other things. So Muhammad Shafi, so he's part of that Shimla deputation as well. This is called a Shimla deputation. They had gone to Shimla. Lord Minto was at Shimla. It was too hot. Right, so he had gone to Shimla. So Shimla deputation. Not that too hot, but still. So Shimla deputation. So you see, I'm just concluding. Where is Shafi? Yeah. Otherwise, you will see, first of all, he is very much popular in Punjab. He will establish one branch in Punjab. Another thing is, you will realize that he becomes part of the Punjab legislature. Then he becomes part of the imperial legislature. Right, then he is appointed as CIE. Sir, title given to him. Right, this is like Bharat Ratna, obviously not exactly Bharat Ratna, but a very honorary title as per the British. Right, and then later on, he's also part of the executive council, like a cabinet minister. You know what is executive council? Viceroy's executive council, given a portfolio as well. Right, 1919 to 1924, he's part of Viceroy's executive council. Very, very influential figure. In fact, the other person which is equivalent to him is Jinnah. And in fact, the Muslim League is under two people. One is Jinnah and one is Muhammad Shafi. Right, Muhammad Shafi is, you can say, orthodox that way. He only thinks about Muslims, but Jinnah is a secular. Right, Jinnah, you can't believe this today, but yeah, Jinnah is a secular who is a nationalist leader right now. Understood? Okay, so I'll conclude this today. So Muslim participation, we have seen, labor participation, we have seen. Plus, we have already discussed it to become pan-India and all. We have already seen the leaders and all. Right, so please give it a reading. Right, okay, try these two questions quickly. First question. Quick answer. Right, so see, Skywalker, 2.5 hours something I need, right? Or we can go for marathons, whatever you all call. Or Saturday we can have a marathon and keep the weekday light. Because see, we need to go for exhaustive discussion. Otherwise, it will be a very shallow story. Yeah, maybe you have already studied, but others need to know. Right, Skywalker? Understood? Okay, so 2019 question. No, Jinnah don't have to name. There are this Muslim League has two important leaders. One you know today is Shafi, but another important leader is Jinnah. He will come later. Right? Don't worry about Jinnah right now. I thought you already know Jinnah, but yes. Okay, so yeah, so both have contributed to the revival. 2019 question, very, very fresh question. Right, contributed to the revival of the indigenous artisan craft industry. If you understand the thread, you know this is right. National Council of Education established as a part of the Swadeshi Mandi. Yes, you know it is right. Right, so both are correct, no issues. Second question. Were adopted as the method for struggle for the first time during first a basic question. Okay, so education against the partition of Bengal. A is the right answer. Good. Okay, drawback. Okay, so now I would leave this drawback to you. Right, you have already criticized a lot, and you know this. Give it a reading, you will understand why this has happened. Few things which you have not studied is Surat split, how this becomes leaderless. We yet to discuss. So we'll talk about the towards the Surat split. From here we'll start tomorrow. Right, we'll discuss the Surat split tomorrow. How this organization is going to split. Right, this is something we'll discuss tomorrow. Yeah, so please please have that mind makeup of 2 hours 30 minutes. Right, Skywalker, please ensure have that mind makeup. Right, and Chandan, happy birthday, man. And please going forward, do not do this in my class again. Right, it disturbs the whole flow, man. Suppose think like that, na, teacher is teaching and everybody in the class starts singing happy birthday, but it is not possible that teacher will focus over it. Right, so yeah, so Chandan, best of luck, man. A lot of wishes from my side. Right, have a great day, enjoy. Right, and study a lot and ensure my best wishes you get selected this year. But please to others, right, don't do this in the class. This totally breaks the whole flow. So please stop doing this in the class. Okay, so let me take the doubts. Neha, in ancient India also Hindu society suffered as a lot of social evils, but now they are just glorifying the positive points only for generating a feeling of unity and nationalism and boost of confidence among people to recognize their values rather than influence with Britishers. So you are correct, जो है Neha, nothing wrong in it. Whatever you have written is right. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So yeah, this happens, right? है ना? Let me tell you. Let me give you a very practical example. What happens in our life, we always discount the negative parts, right? यहाँ overall, overall you always cherish कि हाँ ये अच्छा हुआ, ये अच्छा हुआ, मैं हमेशा अच्छा था, वहाँ भी पढ़ते थे, वहाँ भी पढ़ते थे, right? And like that, you always cherish the glorious part. यहाँ, when you tell about yourself to somebody, you always cherish the glorious part. कि यहाँ जो है this was good, right? So this happens in the country as well. But in the life, in the personal life, if you do that, that has lesser repercussions, right? That does not have repercussions. But when on the national front you do that, you must also understand that it will have repercussions, right? It will have a lot of repercussions, a lot of issues. For example, if we start glorifying the past, somewhere we should not forget in that past we had created that hierarchy, right? है ना कि हाँ somebody is at the top of the ladder, somebody is at the bottom of the ladder. In the past, from there itself, the empowerment of women, obviously the status of women had started to decline, which has declined till very recent era, right? We are still struggling from that horror, right? So yeah, so if we start glorifying that part again, somewhere we are basically moving to the same era or the same kind of society. So let's be very much aware when we start criticizing, very beautiful shots and all are going on, right? But you should be very much critical about what it brings on the table, what it has done to us, and it is us as a society, at some point who has discarded a lot of things, reformed a lot of things, right? You already know now when we have discussed why all these things happen. Yeah. Okay, so yeah, so I think Neha has made my point. Let me check the other. Abhishek Patil, and let's not do all that. Whatever you are writing, part is correct. Yeah, it's correct. Okay, so see, again, I'm not against any political view. Whatever political view you have, you are free to have that, right? My only view is be rational, right? Be very much rational, be very much critical before forming any kind of view, right? Somebody who is illiterate, right, and who has no idea of education or something, who has zero scientific temper, right? If they can believe, there is a person who can tell you what has happened in your past, right, and what is happening to you and why you are sitting over here, right? That person can believe, right? It's okay, it's fine, right? But not expected from you, right? Should you be believing that? So yeah, so I hope you got the point. So then let's meet again tomorrow. Please let us know if segregate magazine and newspaper will not be sufficient. Okay, so yeah, so see, I'm saying 5 articles per day is something which I think is good enough, right? But in the end, if you see the magazine, now if you have your own 5 articles and you have made the notes, I believe Shakti 50-60% of the magazine is done, right? And you'll be very much able to relate what is written in magazine, right? You have already consumed that 50-60 part, and if there is something extra, just highlight in the magazine right there itself or something, and keep that book with you, right? So this copy of yours which you have to revise almost every month, right, or every week, whatever works for you, and then you need to go for these magazines. I would definitely ask you you should not skip magazines. Reason you skip a lot of things, at least reading it once, right? Revising it, let's say, before the examination, the magazines and all, even that will be super helpful. It will be exhaustive, will not miss anything, right? So I'm not asking you to skip magazine. I'm asking you to ensure, the thing, focus mainly on your notes, but supplement with the magazine. That is something I'm asking, right? Okay. Okay, so Saurabh Tripathi, self-suggestion boycott might have caused a great loss to the local shopkeepers who have bought it before. Then why local shopkeepers supported it? Saurabh Tripathi, it's not about the local shopkeepers who have bought, let's say, it's a see. Individual, when it comes to the country matters more than the individual shopkeepers, right? Now that is the reason we are having, let's say, a lot of organic stores coming in, right? For example, Baba Ramdev bringing in organic stores, right? Now let's have Ayurveda or Patanjali or something, and it is not about now there will be no allopathic stores. There will be allopathic stores and all, and it is also the story of Calcutta, right? So now here you must understand the feeling of nationalism. That is the reason they need to be boycotted. If everybody readily said now I'll throw all this, right, all this outside, and then then I start a new product, then there is no need of boycott. But boycott of those people who are not addressing it, right? It is important to boycott all the shops who will not do that, right? It might cause loss to some people, no doubt about that. But the important thing is, this should benefit the whole society or the whole country or the need of the movement at that point, right? So okay, Priyanshu was NCB was still in practice of the partition of Bengal abandoned. What the current status of NCB? I'm not sure about the current status, Priyanshu, right? But I don't think it is in practice right now. That does not make sense. It should be practiced because later on national education was become part of, let's say, your National Council of Education became part of the education given, obviously the idea of education of Gandhiji, right? We have already seen that, and then UCG came into picture, and then UCG will take care of all the things, right? So it should not exist right now, but exactly when this is stopped to exist or something, this I need to check. Okay, if question is options for moderates and extremists, so we should have some focus on extremists, right? If question is opinions on moderates and extremists, so we should have more focus on extremists, right? Depends, right? You have to do justice with the content. You have to do justice with the contribution of moderates as well, right? So you need to talk about the moderates as well. Depends what question is, right? I cannot blindly say that you should go for extremists, but if you want to say that there is more contribution of extremists in this, definitely there is more contribution of extremists. The whole agenda, the whole leadership, the whole movement is based upon extremist ideas. The whole leadership is based on extremist ideas. So if the question is about, let's say, Swadeshi movement, and you are writing upon that, and you are saying there will be major part of or the major contribution of extremists, correct, right? You will be writing more about extremists over here. Okay, I think I've answered all. So let's meet again tomorrow. हे भगवान चंदन, सही में बर्थडे मना रहे हो आज? चैप्टर में स्वदेशी और बॉयकॉट तो पढ़ा है, राइट? पूछ लो स्वदेशी और बॉयकॉट ही क्या है? आज आई थिंक आई आंसर्ड वाला। या क्या है स्वदेशी भाई? ओके, आज आई थिंक आई आंसर्ड। Anti-partition movement changed to Swadeshi movement because of the boycott part. Is this the right view? Yeah, happy birthday, Chandan. No doubts from you today. Enjoy your birthday, right? And do not get worried about this. You will not be able to focus today. It's okay, right? After your birthday, go through the chapter and then ask this question again. Okay, so yeah, happy birthday. Enjoy. So coming back to this question, Uttam has asked, partition movement changed to Swadeshi movement because of the boycott part. So no, it is not like you can say more like Swadeshi part, right? We decided we will go for Swadeshi. Somewhere it means because of boycott only. Boycott becomes one of the part, right? So where we decided Swadeshi proclamation has to be done, we'll go for Swadeshi. Automatically means we boycott. So it's okay. You can say like that. It's okay, right? Perspective, no issues. Yeah, no issues. Correct. Uttam, you can say like that. No issues. Right, but better to say Swadeshi, right? Better to say that Swadeshi is more important than boycott. Going for Swadeshi is more important than boycott. Yeah, but your idea is correct. Perspective is correct. Okay, chalo. Okay guys, so yeah, so please do study. We'll meet again tomorrow. Bye bye. Take care. Have a good day.